Hello everyone, and welcome back to our Story Corner. Today, we're diving into a curious little tale from the Brothers Grimm called The Mouse, the Bird, and the Sausage. It's a story about friendship, contentment, and what happens when we start to think the grass is greener on the other side. Once upon a time, in a cozy little cottage, nestled deep in the woods, lived three unlikely friends: a tiny mouse, a cheerful bird, and a plump, friendly sausage. For a long time, they lived together in perfect harmony. Their little household ran like a well-oiled machine, and they were all very happy. Each of them had a special job. The bird's duty was to fly into the forest every day to gather firewood. The mouse was responsible for carrying water from the well, lighting the fire, and setting the table. And the sausage was the cook. Every day, it would bob and weave among the vegetables and broth, adding its own savory flavor to make the most delicious stew you could ever imagine. Once the bird returned with the wood and the mouse had the fire roaring, the meal was ready, and they would all sit down to eat, happy and full. Life was good. On days when they didn't have chores, the bird would fly out and bring back little treasures, interesting bits of news from the wider world. Life was simple, peaceful, and filled with contentment. They wanted for nothing. But one day, the bird met some other birds in the forest. They boasted about their own lives, and then mocked our little bird, saying he did all the hard work, while his friends at home had it easy. The mouse just lights a fire and carries some water, they chirped, and the sausage just sits in the pot. You're the one doing all the heavy lifting. These words planted a seed of doubt in the bird's heart. He flew home, feeling grumpy and resentful. The next day, he went on strike. He announced that he would no longer fetch the wood. He declared that he had been a servant for long enough, and that it was time they all switched roles to see how easy the others had it. The mouse and the sausage begged him to reconsider. They insisted that their system worked perfectly, and changing it would only lead to trouble. "Please, dear bird," pleaded the sausage, "let's keep things as they are. We've been so happy." But the bird was stubborn. His pride was hurt, and he wouldn't listen to reason. He insisted they draw lots to decide their new jobs. So, with heavy hearts they did. The lot for fetching wood fell to the sausage. The mouse was to become the new cook, and the bird's new job was to fetch the water. And so, their grand, ill-fated experiment began. The next morning, the sausage set off into the forest to gather wood. The mouse busied himself in the kitchen, and the bird flew to the well. But the sausage was gone for a very, very long time. The mouse and the bird started to worry. As they waited, a traveler came down the road and told them a sad story. He had seen a dog on the path, which had met a poor sausage, seized it, and gobbled it up in one bite. Devastated by the loss of their dear friend, the mouse and the bird were overcome with grief. They blamed themselves for not being firm and for letting the bird's foolish pride lead them to ruin. They decided to stay together and do their best to carry on. So, the bird took over setting the table, and the mouse decided to try his hand at cooking. He tried to do just as the sausage had done, rolling around in the pot to season the stew. But as soon as he jumped into the hot broth, he was scalded and lost his life in an instant. Now the bird was all alone. He cried and cried for his lost friends. The next day, he tried to do all the chores himself. While carrying water from the well, he accidentally dropped the bucket, and himself with it, down into the deep, dark well, and that was the end of him. And so, a happy home was destroyed, all because one of them became discontent and wanted to change a system that was already working perfectly. It's a somber reminder to appreciate what we have, and to value the unique contributions everyone brings to the table. Thank you so much for listening to this classic tale. If you enjoyed it, please give this video a like and subscribe for more stories. We'll see you next time. Stay safe and be kind.